So again, we want to welcome you to the WeSib 2025 registration meeting. Um, this morning, I met with your students and we went over registration information and some post-secondary planning information as well. So what tonight you'll hear is the exact same thing that your students heard this morning. We will open the chat toward the end. So if there are any questions or any concerns, we can address them at that time. All the information that you'll see tonight will be on or is on our website or will be on our website. It is also linked to the pages that went home during the parent messenger. There's a link you'll get. You've gotten that over the past 2 weeks. So it has access to all the information that we will show you tonight. So I want to go over real quickly the course registration timeline with families. On Monday, January 29th through February 16th, teachers are putting in recommendations. Some have already done so. Some are in the process of doing so. So if you are interested to see what the teacher have recommended for your student, you are able to go onto their PowerSchool account, look in their registration button, and you'll be able to see what recommendation the teacher has for your student. Today, what we did, we talked to the rising 11th graders, and tonight we're having our parent registration session, and Tuesday and Thursday we will do it with the rising 12th graders and rising 10th graders consecutively. We also have the registration window, which means that PowerSchool opened today. So students will be able to put their courses in PowerSchool, and PowerSchool will be open until Friday, February the 23rd. On Thursday, February 15th through Friday, February 23rd, I will have my Google Calendar open for families to make appointments if you feel that you need to talk with me one-on-one and there's more information that you would like to receive or some specific information specific to your child that you would like to discuss. There are some evening appointments that I do have as well. So just look at the calendar, see what is available for you, and we can make an appointment. Friday, February 16th through February the 23rd, I go through each student's course selection to ensure that they've selected the correct course that they need for next year. And so I will review that and communicate with families if something needs to be changed. On March 27th, we will give out student verification sheets, and that's just a form that says this is what your student has signed up for next year. And if something needs to be changed, it can be changed until May 22nd, and that is the last day of school. I talked earlier about registration appointments, but here's a QR code that you can scan and see what times are available. Again, I do have evening times after 4, I believe it's from 4 to 7 on some days, if that works better for you and your family to meet. I talk to students about tips as they're going through the registration process, some things that they need to keep in mind. One, we want to review the materials that are online, the course selection sheet, the high school program planning guide, which explains what the courses are, graduation requirements, keeping that in mind, the checklist and the math sequence sheet. We'll go over that a little bit, and then the credit detail sheet. So I met with all students today, and each student received a yellow folder. And in the yellow folder, we went over everything that they would need. And I asked them to take the yellow folder home to parents. So you all will have that yellow folder as we go through this process tonight. Also, with registration tips, we want teachers and families to talk to teachers. Teachers will give you an accurate account of where they see the recommendation or the next course is going to be the next favorable course for the student to take. For example, for English 3, we have English 3 honors as a course, and then we have AP English language and composition as a course. So trying to figure out what's going to be the best placement for your child, you will look at the recommendation, talk with the teacher, talk with your student, and then if you would like, talk with me as well, and we can kind of see what is going to be the best placement for your student. Students are going to select 8 primary courses in PowerSchool. They're going to select the courses, and then they're going to click submit. So we're starting off with graduation requirements. So hopefully everyone received the yellow folder. So I'm hoping that I saw them put it in their bags. I told them I was going to tell you that you have it. So hopefully you have it, because that will help you as you matriculate through this PowerPoint tonight. But it's important that families know what the graduation requirements are. That is something that the state of North Carolina says that your child has to have these classes in order to graduate. So we want to make sure for the baseline that everyone knows what your student has or what your student needs in order to graduate from a high school. That would be 4 credits of English, English 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 credits of math, math 1, 2, 3, and math, a 4th math. And that 4th math could be math 4. That 4th math could be AP pre-calculus. 4 social studies credit, world, civic literacy, American history, and economics and personal finance. There are some substitutions. For example, instead of world, a student can take AP world. Civic literacy, a student can take AP government and politics. And instead of American history, they can take AP United States history. There is not a substitute for the econ course as of now. 3 science credits, earth science, biology, and a physical science, and that could include chemistry, physics, or class physical science. WeSib only offers chemistry. A credit of healthful living plus a CPR certification, and then 6 elective credits. Okay, so that's just the baseline. So let's look at the folders that you should have in front of you. In the folders, there's a credit detail sheet. There's a WeSib checklist. There's a course selection sheet, and then a math sequence sheet. So let's talk about each one really quickly. The course detail sheet is a document that contains one important information. It contains the rank, the GPA, weighted, unweighted. It contains the classes that they've taken, the number of credits that they have, and the grade that they have. It is important to know that the credit detail sheet is not a transcript. So if a student is interested in a transcript, they will go on to Student Services website for WeSib, and it has transcript record requests, and click that button and it will take them to how to request a transcript. Students get 3 free transcripts every year. Transcripts are usually 3 pages. So to save on the pages, they have the credit detail sheet, which outlines everything on that one sheet. Okay. I do like to keep in mind and remind families that Wake County Public School System does not recognize the rank. We use the honors designated system. That means that they get cords. Students get cords for graduation. So cum laude, a 4.5, 4.25 or higher, magna cum laude, 4.0 to 4.249, and then cum laude, a GPA of 3.75 to 3.99. The next thing that you will see in the folder is a WeSib checklist. This is a checklist to help you and your student stay on track to what they have and how they're progressing toward graduation. A check is on the checklist for every class that the student has already taken. I've circled the classes that the students are currently in this semester and highlighted courses that the student needs to register for next year. The checklist does not include any of the electives that they've taken except for world languages. Okay. The next sheet, you'll see the course selection sheet is two-sided. So one side, you'll see the courses that we're offering at WeSIB, and by each course, you'll see the grade level. For instance, you'll have English and English 2, and it have 10 by it. So that's for 10th graders. You'll see English 3 honors. It'll have an 11 by it. That's for 11th graders. AP English, language, and composition will have an 11. So 11th graders can choose 2 of those courses. The math is just going to depend on your special circumstance and what particular math you're taking. On the flip side of the course selection sheet, you will see a sample of schedules, one for sophomores, one for juniors, one for seniors. So if you look at the junior typical schedule, you'll see a typical schedule for a junior. At the bottom is a worksheet that we went through today. So as we went through each course, they were to put the course for English honors, English 3 honors, or AP English. If they weren't sure which one, they would put a question mark. And once they solidify what courses they want to take, how do they solidify? They talk to the teacher, they talk with you, their parent, know exactly what they want to take. They'll take that worksheet to the computer, log on to PowerSchool, and then enter those 8 classes and then click submit. The fourth thing they have in their folder is the math sequence sheet. Because math is so diverse, depending on what the student is in, you have a flow chart to help guide you on what math your student should take. For instance, if your student came in taking Math 1, then the next year they should take Math 3, because this year they would have been in Math 2. Let's say your student came in their 9th grade year taking Math 3. This year they're taking, say, AP pre-calculus. Then next year it'll tell you what that flow is going to look like. So that will help you with that. Okay. So then what we did this morning is we looked at the English course, and then we talked about what 2 courses are available, English 3 or AP English Lang. So we wanted them to look at what options do I have. Those are the only 2 options, because those are the 2 options that are needed for graduation. So the student will look at what the teacher's recommendations are, what they feel like is going to be the best fit for them, and choose the course that is best fitting for them. The world language option is going to be very limited for the students. The one thing we want to make sure is that each student has 2 world languages. So Spanish 1, Spanish 2. I have some students who've taken French 1, French 2. I have a couple others who may have German 1 and German 2. We want to make sure that they have had those, because next year is going to be very limited in that they're not going to have a slot for a world language. So we want to make sure that they have what they need. And if not, we can get them the second level of the language that they need. Social studies, as a rising 11th grader, they can have American History Honors or AP United States History. So they have those 2 options. So I pause here real quickly to talk to students about the AP classes, because what I want students to do is select classes that are fitting for them and not select classes because their friend is selecting the class. So the advanced placement is what AP is. It's a college level course. So the AP exam, you earn college credit, And for a quality point, it's one additional quality point that's added to the GPA. Where honors class, there's a half credit additional point that's added to the GPA. We want to make sure that students are selecting AP classes for the right reason. It aligns with their individual and career goals, making sure that they understand that the reading and writing is going to increase when we talk about taking AP courses. So they're getting in the mindset of taking that college level course. We want them to keep in mind their course load as far as what they're doing after school, extracurricular activities, coursework. If they're working, how is that going to fit into the increased amount of work that the AP classes are going to offer them or give them? To learn more about the specific AP course, students, or you can go to College Board and look at, okay, I want to know a little bit more about, say, AP English Lang. You can go on to College Board and look at specifically that particular course to see what they will be learning. Students are encouraged to take the AP exam. The AP exams are free in May as the state pays for the exam. So when we look at science, science is very limited. Again, we're a small early college, and so we're only going to offer chemistry honors. And so that's going to be standard. Everyone going into the 11th grade should have earth science and biology. And what I've told students is we're working on this together as a sense of making sure that you have what you need for graduation. So when I've asked students to look at their credit detail sheet, make sure they have a credit for earth science, make sure they have a credit for biology. Because next year they're going to do chemistry. So we have to make sure that we're checking and balancing what students need to graduate. So as parents, you want to make sure as well that you see the course and you see a credit beside it so you know that your child has what they need to graduate as well. So for science, all of our juniors will be taking chemistry. Math is going to be different. So you're going to have to look on the credit detail sheet and then the checklist to see what is highlighted. Okay, so if I've highlighted Math 3 honors, that is what your student should register for. If I've highlighted a fourth math, that fourth math could be Math 4 honors or AP pre-calculus. So pre-calculus, AP pre-calculus is going to have calculus material in the curriculum. So that means that we want to make sure that their Math 1, Math 2, their Math 3 foundational is solid. How do we know that? We want to look at their grades. We want to look at what the teacher is saying about how they have performed. And you want to talk to your student because we want to make sure we're placing them in the correct course. If your student has already taken AP Calculus AB, which is not many, but that next class would be AP Statistics. If there is something else that you have concerns or questions about, you can ask at the end of the presentation, or we can make an appointment and we can talk about your child's specific questions at that time. Now let's talk about electives. At this point, as a rising 11th grader, your student is going to take electives for Wake Tech. And the electives are going to depend on the area of study they're in. So if your student is in the computer programming and development, they're going to take NAS 110, CTI 110, CTI 120, and CTI 121. Those are non-negotiable courses. So those are 4 courses that they have to take that are going to be connected to Wake Tech. If your student is in the cybersecurity program, they're going to take NAS 110, CTI 110, CTI 120, and SEC 110. If you notice, some of the courses are going to align, right? And then when they get to their 12th grade year, it may branch out a little bit. but some of them may be similar. For networking, these are the 4 networking classes that they're going to take. And if they're in the biotechnology program, then they have their 4 classes that they're going to take. If you look on the course selection sheet that's in front of you, you'll see on the right-hand side the Wake Tech courses split up by program. So you'll see junior, the programming courses, it'll take you to those 4 courses. You'll see biology, the biotech, it'll take you to those 4 courses. So your course selection sheet that you have in front of you will tell you those courses as well, so you can follow and see what your student needs. We're going to pause and talk about internships really quickly with Mrs. Bagley.
So I will apologize up front. I have a cough that I can't get rid of, but I've got some water and cough drops. So one of the benefits of your students being in early college is they get to participate in an internship if they so choose. The way that our internships are created, it's actually a course. So if they complete all of the components, they do get credit for a CTE elective. So I just want to kind of give you an overview of what the internship will look like. The earliest that a student can register for this course is the summer before their senior year. So your student currently right now is getting ready to be in the summer before their junior year. So this is a year process that's down the road, but there are things that they can start doing in between. And it also gives you a chance to really sit down with your student and see if this is something that they want to incorporate into their schedule as a senior, or even possibly when they've done their 13th year. So basically there are 3 components, and this is what makes it an actual course. So there's a project that they would work on. Their internship supervisor at the business would help decide what that project is going to look like. They'll have to create an actual portfolio. This is the actual coursework that they'll submit via Canvas, and then the actual work experience. And then at the end of their internship, they'll actually do a final presentation. If parents are invited, our business partners are invited, as well as other staff. And you might be wondering, why would my student want to take an internship? So when you think about just the benefits of an internship in general, for our students, we really want them to start thinking about what their career objectives are. And a lot of times when we survey our students, they say, I want to be a computer programmer. Well, that sounds really great. But other than their coursework, they've really not had exposure to what that looks like. So it allows them to explore the career path a little more in depth. It gives them a better understanding of what that professional work environment is really going to be like. So taking the content that they're learning in class and apply it in the workplace, it also can help them decide, yes, this really is what I want to pursue, or no, maybe this really isn't what I thought it was going to be, and I want to do something different. Also, that professional mentor. So whoever is mentoring them and overseeing their internship, that's a professional connection that they can take with them throughout the rest of their career. Excuse me. So you might be wondering, what can my student do now in order to prepare for that? So thinking about working on a resume, a cover letter. Now, while we will have workshops throughout their time at WeSib to do this, it's things that you can start talking with them about. Thinking about an elevator pitch. If they had 45 to 60 seconds with the person, what would they say? And really start asking your child, where is it that they might want to intern with? So one of the things that we really want to preface is we're a new school. So we do not have a list of 50 local companies right now that are willing to host student internships. While we are actively working on building that, I think if you'll recall during the last open house, Most of the teachers had a QR code asking that if you had contacts to submit that, as well as parents have sent emails. I sent parents emails. I'll be very transparent. As of today, there is one business on that list. And so here's what I want you to think about. Ultimately, it is the student's responsibility to secure their own internship. While we'll help in the process, please be reminded that it's up to you as the parent to really help them start networking and see in your circle of friends. Encourage them to talk to their friends' parents, community members, things like that, that you already have connections with. We'll help with the application process. They're not expected to do all of this on their own, and we'll have workshops and benchmarks along the way. But initially, why I am here this evening is just really to tell you a little bit more about the opportunity. And there will be the possibility that they could actually take this and get a course credit. Thanks.
And we'll ask Ms. Baxley to stay on just in case parents have questions toward the end as it relates to internships. There's also information on our website where you can go and look at more information as it relates to internships as well. I always like to bring to the forefront why students' GPAs are important. In order to take or to start the Wake Tech program, students have to have a 2.0 unweighted GPA, and to remain eligible 2.0 for the high school GPA required for federal financial aid is a 2.0. The minimum GPA requirement for all UNC school systems is a 2.5. And then to be considered college and career ready, it is a 2.8. And I will say for our general ed Wake Tech classes, students must have a 2.8 unweighted GPA. So those are your Psych 150s and your Humanities 110 classes. Also, students can take only classes that are within their Wake Tech programs. So I've had some students ask if they could take, say, I'll say basket weaving. If basket weaving is not in their program of study for Wake Tech, they wouldn't be able to take that particular course. Maintaining the GPA is important. And in order to earn the AAS degree, which is the Associate of Applied Science degree, students should be going to do their 5th period, summer school, and then the 13th year. So that's important to keep in mind as well. Looking at the AAS degree, we tell students all the time that some courses are transferable. Some of them may not be. We do have partnership with some schools, which there's a link that you will find in this presentation, which I'll post, that you can go on to Wake Tech's website to see what schools we partnership. For example, we do have a partnership with East Carolina University. And so you'll go and see that, okay, East Carolina is a partnership with regard to the computer programming, or this particular school is a partnership with this programming. So that way, before even starting that path, you can see what 4-year courses Wake Tech has university partnerships with. Summer school. So Wake County does not offer enrichment courses for summer school to get ahead. However, this year, Wake Tech is going to allow students to take summer school courses. So what we're asking is for families to give us feedback on whether their child can take a summer school class. So on February the 27th, Tuesday, February 27th, we will be releasing a Wake Tech Summer School Enrollment Google form. On the form, we're asking families for commitments if students are going to take or have in mind to take a summer school class. Now, summer school courses are going to be a little bit tricky for Wake Tech because it will depend on availability. This is not something that's going to be cohorted. This is something that they would take with Wake Tech classes and with Wake Tech students. So a class may be virtual, a class may meet face to face, a class may be on our campus or may be on another campus that Wake Tech has. It's fluid in the sense of we won't know until we're ready to register the child. WeSib has to purchase books for any course that a student takes over the summer. So we're asking for commitment when students fill out the Google form, so we'll know that when we purchase this book, a student is going to take the class. So here again, it's tricky because on the back end, we're trying to find out when the course is going to be offered. It's going to be 8-week, it's going to be 4-week, the delivery of the course, and what books they need. And so once we have the information about the student knowing what course they want to take, we'll be able to put those things in motion. Here again, it's not guaranteed depending on the availability of the course. And then Mr. Kinsey is our contact for Wake Tech classes. I did have a question earlier today with regard to students registering for courses themselves. Students cannot self-register for summer school courses. All summer school registrations must go through Mr. Kinsey. So let's talk about what's next. Students have taken the registration folder home. We expect them to talk to you about what they want to take and what level of classes to take. If you want to, if you need to, you can make a registration appointment with me. Students are then going to put their course selections into PowerSchool and click submit. And then on March 27th, we will allow for the verification sheets to go home so you'll know exactly what your student has signed up for. A little clarification with regard to classes for next year, because it is going to be really straightforward. Students are going to register for 8 classes. 4 of them are going to be Wake Tech classes that they have to take that's going to be aligned with their program area. The other 4 classes are going to be Wake County classes. It's going to be English, math, science, and social studies. So it really is a tight fit in the sense of the courses are really laid out for them. The level of class is what you want to talk with your student about. For instance, English 3 honors versus AP English language and composition. So I have opened the chat. Ms. Miranda is going to help me navigate that. Or if you have a question, you can unmute yourselves and ask. While we're waiting for any questions, I do ask that you scan the QR code and give an evaluation for this session as well. I know it's a lot of information. I'm here to help navigate all of this as well. Again, if you feel like you have questions that you want to ask specifically that may need some time to process and digest, then we can meet at another time. But if anyone has any questions or comments that are good for the group, please ask. I don't see a registration option in PowerSchool. Can you tell me where it is? If you go on to PowerSchool, on the left-hand side, you should have a little icon that says registration. And if you don't see it, have your student come to my office tomorrow during lunch and I'll help them with that. Let's see. I see Catherine Hill with your hand raised.
Hi, yes, this is Catherine.
Yes, ma'am.
Back to summer school. Can you give an idea if these classes go, what time of day will they be? Will they be morning, afternoon, evening, night classes? I understand they may
Unfortunately,
be at different, campuses, which is fine. Just wondering if you know somewhat time of day the classes might be held, and how long will the classes be?
so unfortunately, I don't have that information.
Okay.
I don't have that information because it's going to depend on what Wake Tech tells us, if that makes sense. So Wake Tech will put out um, their classes and they will let us know it's not cohorted. So
Okay.
that means it's just not going to be our students. So whatever they put out for Wake Tech students, we're going to
Gotcha.
have to jump in and get it. So there might be, say, 2 classes available for Psych 150.
Okay.
And we have to get the spot if we can get the spot.
Okay.
So
So
one
they'll
class
be
might meet in person and then one class might meet online. So
okay.
it depends on what we're able to get for the student.
Okay. So then in terms of the course, you don't know exactly whether it's going to be a psych class, it's going to be, like you said, basket weaving or whatever. But the students will know in time enough to kind of pick things that are pertinent to their goals and
So
degree.
what right, so what we're going to do on the Google form is we know what courses aligns with everybody's program area. For instance, we know Psych 150 aligns with everybody's course area, Humanities 110, and I believe there's one other. So we have that on the Google form. So it's going to ask you
Okay.
what class would you like to take.
Perfect.
Once you indicate that, one, that'll help us know what book we need to get. But
Mhm.
two, that'll help Mr. Kinsey know what class he's looking for when that opens.
Okay. And if the kid decides not to take any summer classes, these are courses they will get throughout the rest of their time at WeSib.
Correct. So our
Okay.
Psych 150 is offered during the spring sessions as a fifth class. The Humanities 110 was offered during the fall session for juniors, so they'll have that opportunity as well. But we do know that some students play sports, some students are in other activities, so a summertime may be a little bit better for them to have access to those courses. I
Right.
will say as well that the placement of how we can register students for Wake Tech classes will also depend on their Wake Tech GPA. So there are
Right.
a lot of factors that go into registering for a Wake Tech class, but we're trying to get a hold of what student is committing to take the class so we can get it when when it's opened up and we can access it.
Perfect. Thank you so very much.
You
Mi-
welcome. Miss,
Miss Moore, we have Miss Melina said that the registration evaluation is no longer accepted responses.
okay, please try it again. I just opened it up. Thank you.
And then Kavita has been waiting.
Okay, Miss Kavita.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that there would be a teacher's recommendation for each subject. Where would I see that recommendation? For example, suppose my son chose, say, AP English, but if teacher recommended honors or vice versa, so how would I know what teacher recommended versus what my son chose? Does it match?
So when you go in to Power School and click the course selection or the course registration,
Mm-hmm.
it will have teacher recommendations in there. So when you click on English on the right hand side, it will say teacher recommended whatever course. When
Okay.
you click on math, it'll go in, it'll say the teacher recommended. So the recommendation is in Power School.
Okay. Got it. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I had one more question. Let
Yes,
me
ma'am.
hold on. Just I wrote it down. Let me just see. Um, so the courses that they are going to take now for the junior and the senior year, the ones that are in VecTech, they are really kind of a college level courses. So do they at all get the AP credit for that, or it will be a regular course credit?
Not all of the courses that they take through Wake Tech will be AP counted.
Okay.
Usually the general courses such as Psych 150 and Humanities 110, they
Mhm.
are weighted on the AP level. Some of their coursework like NAS 110, CTI 120, those are going to be weighted as academic courses.
Okay, so they will be weighted as regular courses, not the AP or even honors, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I will say if you go onto our website, I do have a link that shows what classes are what weight. So it'll say NAS 110 academic weight. It'll say Psych 150, one extra quality point. So I do have that for families to see as well. So I don't see a registration option in Power School. So Ms. Fox, if you still don't see it, have, I believe it's Tristan is your son, to come to me and we can look at it together. Good evening, Ms. Moore. Any insight on other universities outside the UNC system accepting courses the kids are taking at Wake Tech? So for universities outside the UNC system, that is going to be the articulation agreement. So if you go on to colleges' websites, they'll have a transfer option where you can look and see what courses transfer as what. So if you go on and you look for transfer courses, they'll have a database to say that, okay, Psych 150 will transfer as this course, or NAS 110 will transfer as this course, or won't transfer at all. Okay. All right, Ms. Fox, please, yes, have Tristan stop by. Registration meeting evaluating, okay, that should be open now. If there will be summer school, when will it be? Here again, that will depend on the course that is open and available for us to register the kid for. There might be a Psych 150 that's in person, that's a 4-week class. There might be a Psych 150 that is online, that's an 8-week course. We won't know that until Wake Tech opens up their courses, and then we can kind of see what we have. I don't think... it's not. It's not. Thank you, Miss Mitchell. The registration button is going to be on the Students Power School. Thank you for clarification. Yes. I think I have 2 hands. I'm gonna pause. I have Miss Rendell.
Hi, I just have a quick question around the Wake Tech portal. It looks like I had got a notification the other day that Patrick had signed up for it or whatnot with his information. But when I went there, it's pulling up my information because I'm a student at Wake Tech as well. So I don't know if that's something, should we be doing anything with the Wake Tech portal or anything, or was that just kind of notification that he's registered within the portal itself?
I do believe Mr. Kinsey is working with students to complete an application for Wake Tech. So he may have already created the application. That would be a Mr. Kinsey question. So I'm going to have to make a note and ask him to look into that for you.
Okay, thank you. But there's nothing that us parents should be doing with that portal right now, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so I made a note of that, and I'll ask Mr. Kinsey about that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Uma Gadam?
Yes, Ms. Moore, a very informative session. Thank you. I have a question regarding the summer school courses.
Yes.
So there will be like an evaluation upon completion of the course, or how they're gonna decide like has been completed, or like are there be any assessment, assignment? I mean, after that or exam? upon completion of the course?
Completion of the Wake Tech course.
No, the summer school courses, yes.
So the summer school course at the completion will be determined by the Wake Tech teacher. Whether that will be a project or whether it will be a cumulative exam, the Wake Tech teacher will decide that and communicate what that final looks like for their class.
Okay, okay.
Okay. All right. So going back to questions, I have, do you know what the time frame is for transferring to Green Hope High School? The window, I believe, opens at the end of February for that transfer process. If desired, can physics be taken at Wake Tech? Is it possible to do this under the normal dual enrollment program? It is not. Because we are early college, our students have to take courses that outline with their program area. Physics is not a course that is in any of the program areas for our students, so they would not have the option of taking physics. We do not offer it on the Wake County side either, so that would not be a course that a student could take. My understanding is that physics is not an option. Okay. Russo.
Yeah, it was actually my question about the physics, because a lot of these kids, including my daughter, are interested in going to engineering of some sort, even if it's computer science. And for NC State, you have to take physics. It's like that's one of the first courses that you take as before you're ranked, and you can code it into any program. And any other engineering program is also going to require that. So how can you not offer physics when a lot of these kids are going for engineering?
So we are aligned with the early college for programming, networking, biotechnology, and cybersecurity. So we're working with Wake Tech, so our students will have those opportunities for those programs. And so we have to follow the program that Wake Tech has for us. Excuse me, that class is not in that program.
Well, a lot of those computer science at NC State and also other engineering programs, if you're doing computer science, which includes cybersecurity, requires physics. So not to have exposure to that, knowing that a lot of these kids are looking to go into engineering or computer science, and they're going to be exposed to it at the college level before they've really been exposed to physics at the high school level. That's I think is going to be a problem. Is there any way that we can explore having it be added? Because I know I'm not the only parent that it's come up in conversation with.
So that is not a course that we will be able to offer. I can note your concern, but as far as the curriculum that Wake Tech has, that's not something that they have in their curriculum. So that's not something that we're going to, and I hear you. And if I could allow you to take it, definitely I would, but that's not in the programming for Wake Tech. So that's not something that we can offer the kids to take.
Okay. I may have some separate questions as a follow-up, so I'll
Okay.
do it with my daughter. It's just that it just makes it really, even if people are doing biotech, even if they go into my daughter is actually interested in biological engineering, and she's a cybersecurity program, and that's okay. It's not negative. I think all the courses that she's taking in that, it's just that not to have the physics is really a detractor for some of these kids. I understand where you're coming from, but it just seems like it should even be an offering as a part of, the core high school.
Right.
Just a thought.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate the feedback. Regarding transferring, considering that the end of February, only 2 weeks away, where can I find official information? It would be on Wake County Public Schools website under student assignment. My son has the same concerns. Okay, with the physics. Gotcha. We have Goma. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, I have a question. Is there a way that the student can take AP class which is not offered throughout the school, like AP biology, as an example, of their own AP chemistry?
So that would be the same flow as physics. Because we're the early college, we are limited in the courses that we are offering to gear students in the path of the four programs we have. We do not offer the AP bio or the AP chemistry.
I understand that the school does not offer that. My question is, can the student still take AP class which is not offered throughout the school?
Can they take it at another school?
Yes,
No, ma'am.
on their own.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, because last year, my daughters, Farah and I, they wanted to take AP biology,
Mhm.
and I think they came and talked to you, and you said they can take at a
So
different
you're
school.
so you're referring to taking the exam, the AP biology exam without taking the class. Yes, a
Yes.
student, yes, a student can take the AP bio exam and pay for that, and they can do that at another school. Yes, ma'am, they can do that. But that's called self-studying. So they would self-study for the AP bio exam, take the exam. Green Hope is our neighboring school that we were working with. Register and pay for the AP bio exam at Green Hope and then take it at Green Hope. Yes, ma'am, that is an option.
So they come and talk to you to register them, or how do they do the registration for the class?
So they can do it next year because this year the registration is closed for May's exam. So next year in August, when we return, yes, contact me and I will get you the information to Green Hope and you can register that way. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So Miss Kavita says, I have some of the same concerns that civics is not an option or physics is not an option. Would my student be rated low as compared to other students at other schools if it doesn't have? So as far as how your student will be compared to other students, your student is taking college level classes. So that in itself is going to be different than what other students are taking. Now, I've been meeting with the admissions officers for NC State and Chapel Hill and East Carolina. And so they like to see that students are taking rigorous courses. And your student is taking rigorous courses because they're enrolled in college level courses. So that in itself is going to set them apart from someone who is not. Yes, if he would be going for engineering. And here again, talking with the admissions counselor separately to say this is what program my student is in at early college and how does that impact. They're not going to look at your student as it relates to someone going to Green Hope because they know that our school does not have the same curriculum that a student at Green Hope or Nightdale or Enloe has. They're going to look at what WeSib offers and what courses you took as it relates to WeSib. Okay. You're welcome. Any more questions? Yes. Let's go,
Yes,
Mom.
Miss Moore. Yes, Miss Moore. So I'm asking, you mentioned that the classes that they take at WICTEC is not transferable to all the public universities around North Carolina. Like they accept a specific college, not our universities. Like NC State, like UNC, are they transferable there or not?
So, as it relates to courses that transfer, we have to look at the college's transfer list. And if you go onto our website, let me pull up WeSib's website really quick. I can take you. Okay. Can everybody see this tab?
Yes.
Okay. So if you go on, look at students tab, go down to student services, you will find a couple of things. You'll find where it says transferable credit. It talks about transferable credit. And then at the bottom, I give you links to the school's transferable sites. These are ones that are just North Carolina. But if you go to them, let's see. You will go in and you will put the course. You will put the course. Let's see. Here you go. So you'll put the course in. So it's Wake Tech. All right. And so all the courses that's offered at Wake Tech, right, you'll see them here. So you'll look for, say, NAS 150, or let's see, does it have a search button? So if we said Psych 150. So you see, has Psych 150, it transfers to Psych 101 for, I believe I did Chapel Hill. So colleges will have this transfer list. So you will go on to see what that course will transfer, if it's going to transfer at all. Also, let's see. So any questions about that? Okay, to confirm if my student has an internship this summer. Correct. And Ms. Baxley?
Yes.
Just to confirm, if my student has an internship this summer of 2024, it cannot count towards course credit. It has to be the summer of 2025 or later, or the super senior year.
Correct. No, my camera's being slow. That is not to discourage a student. That question came up today as well. Your students are more than welcome to secure internships. The difference is, if you want it to count as an elective, then it needs to run through us, and we have to reach out to the person who is their supervisor, making sure that they understand what is required of them to be a supervisor for it to count as a course credit.
Okay. I also wanted to show about transcripts. If you're interested, or your child is interested in sending a transcript, it's here as well under transcripts, records, and requests. We talked earlier about course offerings and what weight they were. So if we go to Wake Tech Community College information, you'll see high school course weight for classes. It will show you Psych, 150 goes on a transcript. One course, one credit is added and earned one credit as well. So one quality point added to the GPA. The SEC 110 goes on a transcript, but no extra credit is added. So you can find that information there as well. So my website is a good resource to go to when you have those questions. Okay. Let's see. Confirm. Thanks for showing us the link. You're welcome. Any other questions? And I will say that this is a journey that we're taking together. So if you guys have any questions and concerns, I hear the concerns about the physics and the AP Bio and the AP Chemistry. I hear those concerns, but here again, that's something where our hands are tied as it relates to Wake Tech and what classes the students can take as it relates to going toward their program area.
I had two questions.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
first one was relating to how like Wake Tech classes are counted in terms of your GPA. So would they count as like the same weight as an AP class, or would they count as like an honors class?
So that was the slide that I just showed. So let me go back. So if you go on to our website and go to the section that says WCC information, it has high school course weight for WCC classes. It will show you the class that Wake Tech has, and then it will show you the weight. So some of them are AP weight and some of them are no weight at all. But I don't want us to get hung up in that, in the sense of I have been working and communicating with colleges and universities, and they have said, even though it may not count on your transcript as a college level course, they recognize it to be a college level course and know that you're doing college level work. So that is the important piece.
Also, another question. So let's say a student takes like, for example, pre-calc over the summer. How would, and then they need to take an additional math class. Would they skip over directly into calculus, or would they be able to still have to take AP pre-calc?
So pre-calculus is not offered over the summer.
No, like as a Wake Tech class.
So Wake Tech has pre-calculus split up into two classes over the summer, or two sections. Their pre-calculus is not equivalent to Wake County's pre-calculus. So we would have to have a separate conversation offline as it relates to the math that you're going to take. Because Wake Tech's pre-calculus is two classes and Wake County's math class is one class. And so we'll have to talk about what that looks like in the next phase of what you're wanting to take. Okay? So make an appointment with me so we can talk about that a little bit further and delve into the options that you have.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Thank you so much for attending tonight. I appreciate all your comments, all your questions, and please feel free to make an appointment with me to talk further about your child's specific needs. Thank you.